There was once a boy, small and shy, who walked the dusty streets of a town in India. His name was Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. People did not look at him and say, "Here is a leader." In fact, he was afraid of the dark. He hated speaking in public, and he was easily frightened by loud voices. But inside this quiet boy, there was something powerful, a deep sense of right and wrong. He was born on October 2nd, 1869, in Porbandar, a small town in western India. His family followed the Hindu religion, and they were part of the merchant caste. His father worked for the local government. His mother was deeply religious and fasted often. From her, Gandhi learned about patience, self-control, and the importance of peace. As a young student, Gandhi was not very confident. He was afraid of failing. In school, he tried to stay unnoticed. He read his books quietly and listened carefully. But he did not like to speak in front of the class. He did not have many friends. His English was weak, and his writing was simple. But he always tried to be honest. Once, when his teacher tried to help him cheat during a test, Gandhi refused. He would rather fail than lie. This small moment was a sign of what kind of man he would become. When Gandhi was just 13 years old, he was married to a girl named Kasturba. In those days, child marriage was common in India. They were both children, and at first, they did not understand what marriage really meant. But over the years, they learned, grew, and supported each other through many struggles. As he grew older, Gandhi wanted to learn more, so at the age of 19, he traveled to London to study law. The journey was long and frightening. It was his first time away from home. When he arrived in England, he found a different world, cold weather, foreign food, strange customs. He struggled with the language, with manners, with fitting in, but he stayed strong. He promised his mother he would stay true to his values, and he did. In London, Gandhi studied hard. He read books, watched people, and learned how to argue with words, not with fists. He discovered the teachings of great thinkers like Tolstoy, Thoreau, and Buddha. He was especially inspired by the idea of non-violence, the belief that fighting with peace is stronger than fighting with hate. After finishing his studies, Gandhi returned to India and started working as a lawyer. But he found it difficult. He was shy in court, nervous in front of judges, and uncomfortable in his role. Then, one day, he received a job offer from South Africa to help an Indian businessman with a legal case. Gandhi accepted the offer and went to South Africa in 1893. He thought it would be a short trip, but it changed his life forever. In South Africa, Gandhi saw something that shocked him: racism. Indians were treated badly. They were not allowed to ride in first-class trains. They were forced to carry identity papers. They were beaten, insulted, and made to feel like they were not human. Gandhi himself was thrown off a train, even though he had a first-class ticket, just because of his skin color. That night, as he sat in the cold of the station, Gandhi made a decision. He would not stay silent. He would not accept injustice. He would fight, not with weapons, but with truth and non-violence. This was the birth of Satyagraha, his philosophy of peaceful resistance. Gandhi stayed in South Africa for 21 years. He organized protests, led marches, and united the Indian community. He taught people that they had power, not in their fists, but in their minds and hearts. If they refused to obey unfair laws, if they stood together, if they stayed peaceful, they could create change. His methods were simple, but powerful. He told people not to fight back, even if they were hurt. He asked them to forgive, even when they were insulted. And he lived what he taught. He wore simple clothes, lived in a small house, and served others. People began to follow him. They called him Mahatma, which means great soul. In 1915, Gandhi returned to India. His country was under British rule. The people were tired, poor, and angry. Farmers were starving. Workers were abused. Freedom felt like a dream too far away. But Gandhi believed. He walked among the people. He listened. He learned. And then he led. He didn't use big speeches or grand promises. He used truth, simplicity, and action. He asked Indians to stop buying British goods. He encouraged them to make their own clothes, He told them to find strength in unity and pride in their culture. The British rulers did not like this. They arrested him many times. He was beaten, insulted, and put in jail. But each time he came out stronger, and every time he returned, more people followed him. One of Gandhi's most famous acts was the Salt March in 1930. The British had put a tax on salt, something every Indian needed to survive. Gandhi walked 240 miles from his home to the sea to make his own salt. Thousands of people joined him. It was not just about salt. It was about freedom. The freedom to live with dignity, to make your own choices, to stand without fear. The world watched. Newspapers wrote about this peaceful man with his walking stick and his soft voice. Leaders from other countries began to admire him. They saw how one man, without an army, could shake an empire. Gandhi never used violence, even when violence was used against him. When riots broke out between Hindus and Muslims, he went on hunger strike. He would stop eating until the people stopped fighting. His body became weak, but his message was strong. Peace was more powerful than war. He dreamed of an India where all religions could live together in harmony. But when independence finally came in 1947, India was divided into India and Pakistan. Violence broke out. Thousands died. Gandhi was heartbroken. He walked among the people, praying for peace. He fasted again, trying to stop the bloodshed. Some people loved him for it. Others hated him. On January 30th, 1948, Gandhi was walking to his evening prayer meeting in Delhi. A man came up to him and shot him. 3 times. Gandhi fell to the ground. His last words were "Hey Ram," a call to God. The world cried. But his death was not the end. His message lived on. His life became a light for others. Though Mahatma Gandhi was gone, his story was just beginning. His ideas did not die with him. In fact, they became seeds planted in the minds of people all over the world. These seeds would grow into movements for justice, equality, and peace. In the years after his death, Gandhi's name became a symbol. His face was on walls, on coins, in books, and in the hearts of millions. But more important than his image was his message, that even the weakest person can be strong if they stand for what is right. Across the ocean, a young preacher in America, Martin Luther King Jr., heard about Gandhi. He was fighting for civil rights in the United States, where African Americans were still treated unfairly. When he read about Gandhi's idea of nonviolent resistance, he was inspired. Dr. King said, "Christ gave us the goals, Gandhi gave us the methods." In South Africa, another man named Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison for fighting against racism. When he was finally released, he forgave his enemies. He became president of the country and helped heal a broken nation. Mandela often said Gandhi had been his guide. Even in places Gandhi never visited, his voice echoed. People learned that peace does not mean weakness, and that kindness does not mean surrender. True courage, they understood, comes from standing firm without hatred. But Gandhi's strength did not only come from his mind, it came from his heart and from his habits. He lived simply, eating little, wearing only a piece of cloth, and sleeping on the floor. He believed in self-discipline. He woke up early, prayed, walked, read, and worked with his hands. He once said, "The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others." He believed that happiness did not come from money or fame, but from giving time, giving love, giving effort to something bigger than yourself. He also believed in learning. He was not perfect. He made mistakes. He doubted himself. He changed his ideas when he found better ones. But he kept growing. That is one of the most powerful things you can learn from Gandhi. You don't need to be perfect to make a difference. You just need to try, every day, to be better than you were yesterday. What Gandhi left behind was not a crown, not a palace, not a fortune. He left behind something far more powerful, a path that anyone, rich or poor, young or old, shy or strong, could walk. He showed us that real leadership doesn't need a title, real power doesn't come from fear, and real education doesn't come only from schools. It comes from living your values. Gandhi lived in a time of violence, but he chose peace. He lived in a time of division, but he chose unity. He lived in a time of silence, but he chose to speak truth, softly, clearly, and bravely. And so can you. You don't have to change the whole world today. Start with your own world. Change how you speak, how you treat others, how you treat yourself. Learn to forgive, learn to listen, learn to learn, not just for tests or grades, but for growth and meaning. If you're learning English, think of it this way. Every word you learn is a tool. Every sentence you speak is a step forward. Every story you hear is a mirror. And stories like Gandhi's, they won't just teach language, they teach life. You now know that a man once walked barefoot through villages to teach freedom, that a man who was afraid of public speaking became the voice of millions, that a man with no army made empires tremble, not with weapons, but with his will. If he could do that, what can you do? Can you wake up 1 hour earlier to chase your dream? Can you stay calm when someone doubts you? Can you keep learning, even when it's difficult? Can you be the light in someone's dark day? Yes, you can. You must. Gandhi didn't wait for someone to give him permission. He didn't wait for the perfect time. He started where he was, with what he had, and with deep belief in something better. That's what I want you to take with you today. Take his courage, take his patience, take his truth, and take your English journey seriously, because language is power. When you learn to speak clearly, you learn to think clearly, and when you think clearly, you can lead, help, and heal, just like Gandhi did. You have a voice, use it. You have a story, share it. You have a dream, follow it. If this story of Gandhi inspired you, even a little, imagine how many more stories are waiting to touch your heart and improve your English at the same time. So if you're on this journey of learning, of dreaming, of becoming stronger inside and out, then you're in the right place. And I'm here to guide you every step of the way with more powerful stories, real heroes, and English that lifts you up. So don't forget, subscribe to this channel, listen, learn, and let these stories light your path. Because you, yes, you, are not just a learner, you are a leader in the making. Just like Gandhi once was,